Hello and welcome to Sunday League to Legend. It's a new week of Football Manager 21 with Leyland Albion. Today's edition is a roundup of all the other happenings and events in the different leagues loaded in the save. We've reached the end of level 10, we've got our promotion, and as such it's a good time just to have a look at all that's happening with other clubs. Perhaps there'll be your club. You'll be interested to know what's going on with them in terms of relegation, promotion, whether they've been in a cup final or anything like that. Let's all find out. We start with the three competitions that we were entered in. So we have the Northwest Counties Division 1 North, the Build Base FA Vars, and the Northwest Counties Cup. We were actually knocked out of the FA Vars in the second qualifying round by Welling Town. Disappointing result for us, but in the final, Rugby won. An entire code coming over to win a football competition. Not sure how fair that is, but they did beat Bishop Auckland 2-0. Bishop Auckland are quite a famous club with Football Manager, Championship Manager fans. They being the club that, of course, had Michael Dunwell in the early 2000s. He was always a really good signing as a striker. But unfortunately, his old club crashed to defeat in the final there against Rugby. In terms of the Northwest Counties Cup, it was Longridge Town taking the trophy there in extra time with a 2-1 win against AFC Blackpool, who were in our league this season. They were quite an impressive side, so Longridge Town doing something right there to take home the trophy. Our journey in the Northwest Counties Cup finished at the first time of asking. We were knocked out by Lower Breck at one of 3 defeats that we suffered against the same team throughout the season. But of course they didn't win the league. We did. Real winners don't give up. Real winners learn from their failures. Real winners lose a bit of weight, get their teeth done, and start seeing that nice girl in the PR department. I digress. In terms of the Northwest Counties at Division 1 North, I'm not going to be tired of having to not say that mouthful anymore. We won the league by 8 points over the Holker Old Boys. They pushed us really hard, and without us, we're probably deserving of promotion themselves. They'll come again, but they'll do it without their top scorer, Tom Dawson, so we've poached him already. What you'll find if you ever play the level 10 database is, down at this level, nobody has a contract. They're all available for you to poach as you will. And if you are a big team and if you're doing well, players are more likely to make that step up. We've done the same with Connor Finlayson, one of AFC Blackpool's best players as well. I'm in for a couple from Lower Breck, maybe from the Holkers as well. But it's just business. You know, we've got promotion. We've got to worry about level 9. They've got another season here in the Northwest Division 1 North to contend with. In terms of stats for our league, I did want to have a quick look at the players who have really made the difference. As you can see, number 1 striker with a bullet, Connor Comer, 52 goals, an average goal per every 56.29 minutes. That's an amazing return. Nearest challenger, Thomas Dolby, 31. Moise Cromer has 30. And then you've got the 2 guys that we've signed, Tom Dawson and Connor Finlayson, both with 29 and 28 respectively. Carl Jones had a good season for Golka, and Jay Colback was really one of the stars for the Lower Breck. Most assists went to that man as well, Connor Comer, 20 for him. Trent Coulter, a summer signing by myself, take the credit for this one, 15 assists to his name, just 21 years old. He's got a really big future in the game, I would suspect. Most shots, again, Connor Comer. So there you have it, right at the top. And we also had Tom Dawson and Connor Finlayson on that list as well. So obviously they played for the Holker Old Boys and AFC Blackpool respectively. So we have adopted their stats. Tom Dawson just 19, Finlayson 21, Connor Comer's only 20. So if we can tie them down to permanent deals, we're in with a bit of a shout here. Tom Dawson, most player of the match awards, 16, followed by Connor Comer with 15. Next challengers, Carl Jones, Jay Colbeck with just 10. Key passes went to Liam McDevitt I don't think we had a player on this list, but we are in for Cleator Moore's Ricardo Santos. They did not have a good season, Cleator Moore, but it was not his fault. I think he's a player that could fit into our system. A left winger as well. We've played him a few times this season, and he's always played well. Pass completion stats, not really interested. I don't think we had any players, certainly not with 93% passing stats. Joshua Bain and Tom Greaves from Bury AFC getting on that list, along with Moise Cromer from Nelson. I wonder if he's somebody that we could have a look at, potentially. I mean, we have played him this season, so in terms of the transfer sort of rules, he does kind of fit, but he's another striker. We're already quite full up on them, to be honest, and I'm already scouting him. See, this is what happens when you play good players. You notice them straight away. In terms of tackles won, you're looking at the likes of James Wolfenden and Anthony Shinks, so Steeton and Pilkington, respectively. They were teams, I suspect, down in the lower reaches, and therefore requiring them to make a few more tackles. Most dribbles, Joshua Ede, no surprise, another summer signing. And Jamie Manart up there as well for Lower Breck. I think he's played well against us in every game that we played against that team. Liam McDevitt, he's there again, as is Harry Walker. So good to see Harry getting in on the action as well. We're not going to pull up any trees in terms of clean sheets or least conceded, because I think we conceded something like the 17th most goals in the league, which is crazy considering that we were top. Well, that's the way it goes sometimes. In terms of the team overview, have a quick look. Most goals, look at that, 136 goals. Nearest challengers were St Helens Town with 79. They were down in 5th place. AFC Blackpool with 77. They were 7th. You have to go down to 6 for the Holker Old Boys to see the team that finished 2nd. Most points per game, obviously ourselves. That's just going to be a list of where teams came in the league. Most shots, 552 over AFC Blackpool by a good 31. Fewer shots against went to Nelson, suggesting that they have quite a good defensive back line, a good solid low block there. Best pass completion, we're still not here. AFC Blackpool, Steeton and Lower Breck, the top 3. In terms of possession, you're looking at Nelson. Finally, we make an appearance there, down in 50% for average possession. It's how you use it, really. I'm not too worried about that one. Most tackles, yeah, will be teams more towards the lower reaches, but surprised to see the likes of Blackpool and the Holker Old Boys on that list, even AFC Liverpool. You don't really expect to see that. Dribbles made, we've got, of course, Joshua Ede, top dribbler, I suppose you'd call him, in the league. Doesn't sound right. Followed up by Lower Breck and Bury AFC. Clean sheets went to Lower Breck and the Holker Old Boys, 15 apiece. Obviously, they are pretty high up in the league. And then the fewest conceded, 32 by the Holker Old Boys. That's less than a goal a game. Lower Breck with 37 out of 36 played. So, things to work on there for ourselves, to be honest. And as you can see, we did pretty well in terms of the form, ending the season 2nd behind St Helens Town. And the Holkers took a loss in their final game, which really helped us out. So the plan is to move up the leagues. I did just want to show you the season preview, because you will see where we were expected to finish, which was 8th. So at 25-1, the same as backup. Unfortunately, for the bookies, we appear to have confounded their expectations. If you were to put, 10 or 20 quid on Leyland Albion for promotion at the start of the season, you would have had quite a nice return. Bury AFC, big favourites. They were the ones that everybody was looking at, but unfortunately didn't quite do it. So if we look at the actual stages table in terms of the media prediction, you can see the difference. So Bury AFC finishing in 6th place when they were predicted 1st. Holker Old Boys were predicted 5th, Nelson 6th. And it's them along with ourselves that are in the top 3 positions. Surprising for backup, down in 16th place. So they were expected to finish 9th, which is just around where we were. But yeah, really down in the lower reaches. But the bookies got it right with the likes of Daisy Hill down there, Garstang and Cleator Moor. Chadderton got a bit further up than perhaps expected, a good 4 places higher than thought of in the early stages. We'll now just have a quick look around the different leagues. So we'll start with the Premier League. Here we are. And the winners were Liverpool. Let's see if we can just put the stages on. Liverpool ahead of Chelsea, finishing there 5 points clear. Chelsea level with Manchester City, who have since dispensed Pep Guardiola's services. Mentioned that on the stream. There are, of course, new European competitions in the game. So you've got the UEFA Champions League, you've got the UEFA Europa League, and then there's the UEFA Conference. We'll have a look at that in a second. As you can see, so the top 6 are pretty standard, really, but it's Fulham, the big movers, up with 49 points, level with Burnley, and just 1 ahead of Wolves, who have managed to get European football. Down at the bottom, the Premier League has said goodbye temporarily, I suspect, to the likes of Crystal Palace, West Brom and Brighton. Some teams only just survived, really, very tight down there. West Ham, 1 point clear. Leeds and Everton, 2 points. Villa were only 3 points, as were Sheffield United and Leicester City. So really tight down there at the foot of the Premier League. Joining the Premier League next season will be Reading, so they triumphed in the playoff final. But if we look at the league table, we can see Norwich and Watford are on their way back up. Norwich with 97 points, so really good return for them. Watford with 81. And then it was Bournemouth, Forest and Stoke who missed out in the playoffs. Sheffield Wednesday, Rotherham and Wycombe relegated. So they'll spend a season in League One. In terms of League One themselves, Oxford are playoff winners. They joined Portsmouth and Ipswich. So interestingly that Oxford were 3rd in the league. Really triumphed over Hull, Bristol and the MK Dons in the playoff competition, end of season. Sunderland only 10th. You'd expect them to start moving up, considering the size of the club. And then we've got our local side, Blackpool, there in 15th. Relegated are Wigan, unexpectedly, as far as I'm concerned, with Plymouth, Accrington and AFC Wimbledon. League 2, playoffs were won by Mansfield, so they will join the likes of Colchester, Forest Green and Salford City, class of 92 team, in making it up the league into League One. So Carlisle, Walsall and Tranmere were the unsuccessful side in the playoffs. Bolton managed to save themselves, only 19th place though, but there was a bit of a fair gap between the 2 relegated sides. Harrogate, who I've got a lot of time for, I think they're a really good club, and Leyton Orient relegated. Barrow survived, but by 7 points. So really, bit cut adrift, Leyton Orient and Harrogate, if we're honest. But Bradford down there as well. Don't expect to see that. In terms of the Vanarama National League, Solihull Moors have actually won the playoffs. So despite being 4 points back on the likes of Sutton, Eastleigh and Stockport, who I think will do well this season, if they're not up there in the National League playoffs, I will be staggered. Notts County, with a 12-point lead at the top of the league, they've earned promotion back to the Football League. Down at the bottom, the likes of FC Halifax, Wealdstone, Altrincham and Weymouth. They will be filling out the north, the Vanarama National League North or South, depending on their location. York have got promotion from the National League North. Not even going to comment on that. But AFC Fylde, my team, they have got the 6-point lead at the top, and they have earned promotion over the likes of Guiseley, Boston United and Alfreton. So some really good sides there. Blythe Spartans in 7th. Southport down in 18th. So they're quite a local side. Mid-table for Chorley. Leamington and Farsley are the 2 sides relegated there. And in the Vanarama National League South, it's Havant and Waterlooville. So funny that, the 2 teams that #promote2 have gained promotion through the playoffs a year later. That's a bit odd. Dulwich Hamlet, I've got so much time for. I think they're a fantastic club, as are Dorking. And in fact, I like Ebbsfleet, to be fair. Yeah, just I'm not a big fan of Havant and Waterlooville. So the top three there, really good to see. But unfortunately, it was Havant that made it through the playoffs, defeating the likes of Slough and, of course, Dorking and Ebbsfleet, as mentioned. Chippenham are the team to experience relegation. The one team that I'm really glad to see that didn't go down are Hemel Hempstead. I tend to play them a lot in non-league saves, certainly over the past few years. Fantastic club, really enjoy looking at their badge because it's the Henry VIII badge. Good club, glad to see them stay up. In terms of the cup competitions here in the UK, let's have a quick look at the FA Cup. The Emirates FA Cup. Won by Liverpool, it would seem. Yeah, so Liverpool with a penalty win over Manchester City. That's interesting, isn't it? So let's have a quick look at the semi-finals. So in the semi-final, it was Liverpool with a win over Chelsea. So look at these semi-final, big sides here. Liverpool with 3-2 win over Chelsea. And Manchester City overcome rivals Manchester United by 2-1. Top scorers the likes of Roberto Firmino, Ender Stephens on there for average rating, second. Interesting. I don't know who this is for Golston, but I think he played really well in the FA Cup. There you go. Obviously, I can't scout him, I can't look to sign him, simply because, well, he's on a bit of money as well. He's not a chance we're going to be able to pay that. But he hasn't come to our attention through any of the three methods that we allow in Sunday League to Legend. In terms of the Carabao Cup, won by Manchester United with a penalty victory over Chelsea. So Chelsea crashing out not only of the FA Cup semi-finals, but making it all the way to the final of the Carabao Cup and not quite able to convert that into a win. Community Shield, right at the start of the season, that was won by Liverpool. Goals from Mane and Salah, putting away Arsenal. Can't say fairer than that, really. To be expected. Papa John's Trophy, that was won by Manchester United's under-23s. And nothing says football fair competition than United's under-23s beating Portsmouth in the final. Absolutely staggering. Can I see the team that played? That would be quite interesting, because I suspect there may be a few first teamers if we look at Manchester United's under-23s. Yep, Diallo, Fosu-Mensah, Galbraith, I think he's a first teamer. Not entirely convinced about that one. The fairness on show. We've got the FA Trophy, Chesterfield getting the win there. 2-0 over Yeovil. Then we've got the Vars, we've been through that. English Southern League Cup won by Truro. Interesting. There you have it. In terms of the other leagues that we've got loaded into the game, we'll just have a quick look at the likes of Germany, Italy, we do have as well, all loaded. Spain. So Spain was won by Atletico Madrid with an 8-point advantage over Real Madrid. Barcelona back in third, another point. Bilbao up there, they seem to do wondrous stuff. And then Sevilla in fifth. Real San Sebastian, those mysterious chaps, and the Real Hispalis, who I think is Betis, isn't it? They're in seventh. Alaves, Elche, and Cadiz relegated there from La Liga. In the Bundesliga, a bit of a playoff happening there as well, but it was Bayern Munich by quite a distance, 19 points over Borussia Dortmund. Leipzig by Leverkusen, they tend to be up there or thereabouts, and then a bit of a gap back to Borussia Mönchengladbach, Eintracht Frankfurt, and FC Köln, which I think is pronounced Köln, isn't it? Could be. Wolfsburg just missing out there, along with Hoffenheim. Down at the bottom, Stuttgart, Schalke 04, big surprise, just 26 points to their name. And then Arminia Bielefeld. I'm fairly sure that's not how you pronounce it, but they're getting relegated, so I won't have to worry about that next year. In Serie A, Juventus win by 10 points over Lazio, with Napoli and Inter in the top 4. Fiorentina, Atalanta and Milan further down in the other European places. Sassuolo and Sampdoria. I do like a Sampdoria side. They just miss out. Spezia, Benevento and Crotone are relegated, so Torino surviving by just 2 points. And into the Eredivisie. I mean, this is the time when my pronunciation just lets me down completely. Luckily, PSV are the champions by just 1 point from Ajax. I suspect they won't be happy with that. AZ, Feyenoord and Vitesse with the other European places. Down at the bottom, we've got FC Emmen and RKC. I'm not quite sure what that stands for. FC20, though, in 7th. But look at that gap. If you look at the top 4, the gap there to Vitesse, I mean, that's what, 23 points? That's a massive chasm there. And good for AZ to get themselves up into 3rd, to be fair. While we're here, we will have a look, actually, at the European competitions. That would be good to have just a quick browse at. So, as you can see, Champions League won by Liverpool. So if I go back. So what's happened is, due to the time of year, the next fixtures have already begun. So we'll just very quickly see if we can find the final. Can I see it? Stages. Come on, Charlie. That's the first time I've ever looked at it. There we have it. So, played in Istanbul. Okay then. Liverpool winning by 3-2 against fellow English side Manchester United. So over there, they are now the holders, and then play the next final will be in St. Petersburg. Interestingly, in the UEFA Europa League, if we go back a year, we'll see that Arsenal were the champions in extra time, defeating Lazio in Gdansk. Italian side crashing to a late defeat to Arsenal, who I believe are still managed. No, they're not. They're managed by Marcelo Bielsa. My apologies. I forgot that they changed managers. Arteta was sacked. I mean, that could happen in real life, couldn't it? Despite his 1 cup win. And he was replaced by the current Leeds United boss. I wonder if their social media team had anything to say about that. I suspect they probably did. UEFA Conference League, that's a new one this season. So plenty of teams that haven't got into the Europa League or the Champions League are chancing their arm there. I can see Dundalk, Sligo Rovers in from the UK here. In terms of the teams, you can see there are some big names. So obviously AC Milan, Feyenoord are going to be the teams to look out for. Zenit, AS Monaco, representing France. You've got Anderlecht there as well. And there are a good few clubs with a lot of European experience that have qualified for this one. So it'll be interesting to see who comes through in that one. The European Super Cup, that was won by Bayern Munich with a penalty success against Sevilla. I'll just very quickly make sure that I've not missed any other leagues out that are loaded. Portugal. Did we go to Portugal? We definitely did not go to Portugal. So in terms of Portugal, they are actually featured here in the UK on Free Sports, which is great to see as well. Let's get the league table up. And there you have it. So Portugal, for some reason, seem to have this thing about not having their proper names. I suspect it's licensing issues. But Benfica are the champions there with 87 points, followed by Porto on 76. So sort of the establishment there at the top. Braga and Sporting, no strangers to European competition, up there in the top 3. Surprised by Boa Vista, down in 16th place. They only survived relegation by 2 points. I think they are a pretty handy side. So that is everything that's happened in Sunday League to Legend, the year 2020 to 2021. So next season is upcoming. We will get our promotion rubber stamped, and our next episode later on this week on Wednesday will contain a look at probably an pre-season friendly, and then we'll go through all the different player movements, because you can imagine, just looking at our squad, that there's going to be a lot of upheaval. If we keep hold of Connor Comer, I would be staggered. The likes of Andy Barlow set to retire, so there's not much we can do about that either. Just have to go with it. Dave Stanley also retiring. We'll see who we've got left, and then we'll see whether we can challenge for anything at level 9. I suspect things are going to get a little bit more difficult now as we move further into the game. Thank you for joining me today. Hopefully you found out where your club was. Do pause the screen and have a quick look at all the different league tables, and I will see you on Wednesday. See you then. I was going to end the video there. However, we have our end of season review. This is something new that has come into Football Manager 21 this year, so I just did want to share it for anybody who's not seen it yet. So the end of season review 2021 for Leyland Albion. Here are our new arrivals, and as you can see, we've got the average rating, transfer details, and the board were confident with the deal to sign Andy Barlow. Mark Battersby was somebody who left us, as was Simon Pendlebury. So you can just have a quick look at how all your signings did, see how many goals they scored. So there you have Connor Comer, top of the shops. Harry Walker with 24 goals himself. Joshua Ede, Trent Coulter, all players that I signed. Boubacar Balde, not great, but 7 goals. You know, we only started 8 games, came on 8 as a substitute. We got 2 out of Tom Dawson in the last game, but obviously Ryan Dobson and Connor Finlayson, very recent signings. De Castro, his average rating isn't brilliant. It's going to be down there. I'm not entirely convinced by him, if we're honest. It certainly was a season to remember, as we finished top of the North West Counties Division 1 North, as discussed. Plenty of information about the competition results. So you see that we lost 2 in a row, Holker Old Boys and Lower Breck. We never lost 2 in a row again. And in fact, the rare sight of a clean sheet was something of an issue. We've got our performances in the 2 cup competitions, which we've just been through. Moments to remember. So we had the 8-2 win against Daisy Hill. Lee Hughes, remember him? Connor Comer, Francis Aliu, Trent Coulter, Old Diego, young man in central midfield, and Boubacar Balde on the scoreline there. The 5-0 win against Garstang, that was our first game, very first game broadcast on YouTube. Brown got sent off in the 3rd minute. We were already up by then. Harry Walker had scored a goal already, and we just never looked back. And there was the goal of the season is 7-3. Was in the 7-3 win against Steeton. That was by Old Diego, who's just probably now 17. In terms of our finances, we've actually done pretty well this year. We've sold 98 shirts. Can you imagine that? £900 merchandise shifted. Fantastic. No new sponsorship deals, but we are on quite an even footing with our finances, so nothing to be too concerned about. Surprised to see Balde in our best 11. I would have thought they'd have moved Harry Walker up there and brought in Andy Barlow on the right. That's normally how we played. Richard Pell and Dave Stanley both retired from competition now, but Forbes and Murphy get the nod. So surprised about Murphy a little bit. Didn't know if it'd be De Castro. As you can see, only started 17 games and made 11 substitute appearances. Well, in terms of our accolades, so we've got player of the season went to Connor Comer, deservingly so. Young player as well. Signing of the season, Harry Walker. Goal of the season, Old Diego. Our top scorer and top assist maker is Connor Comer. Most player of the match wasn't Tom Dawson, even though most of them weren't for us. And the highest average rating was a 7.9 for Connor Comer. Record breakers, most overall goals, most goals by a player. Because we're a brand new club, we are setting the bar quite high. Lee Hughes, obviously our oldest player. I think he was 44. He was old as time when he signed for us. So there you have it. History in the making. Ricky Finch from TalkSport. I mean, if anything you want to quote, go straight to TalkSport. Leyland Albion dared to dream, and thanks to a great run of results in the middle of the season, their promotion dreams came true. 8 points clear, as we discussed, of the Hulker Old Boys. And then we're back. So that is the end of season review. That's a new thing for this year. And I just thought we'd get that on camera so that we could share it with you. As I said, I will see you on Wednesday. See you then.